I was speaking with a woman the other day. She's 73 years old, and she said something to me that I've heard hundreds of times before. She said, "My legs just aren't what they used to be. I can barely get up from a chair without using my arms, and climbing stairs, forget about it. My doctor says it's just age, that my muscles are naturally wasting away, and there's not much I can do except maybe some physical therapy." And I looked at her and I said, "What if I told you that weak legs after 70 are not inevitable? What if I told you that the muscle loss you're experiencing, the weakness, the instability, the fear of falling, what if most of that isn't actually about age at all, but about one simple daily habit that almost every senior is getting wrong?" Now, before you think I'm about to tell you that you need to join a gym or start some intense exercise program, let me stop you right there. That's not what this is about. What I'm going to share with you today is something so simple, so fundamental to how your body works, that when I explain it, you're going to wonder why no one ever told you this before. And the truth is, most people, including many healthcare providers, simply don't understand the connection between this daily habit and leg strength. But once you understand it, once you start making this one change, you can begin to rebuild strength in your legs, regain your confidence, reduce your risk of falling, and maintain the independence that matters so much to you. Today, we're going to talk about weak legs after 70, and I'm going to explain to you exactly why your legs are getting weaker, what's really happening inside your muscle cells, and what you can do about it starting today. We're going to talk about protein, but not in the way you've probably heard it discussed before. We're going to talk about timing, about distribution, about how your aging body processes nutrients differently than it did when you were younger, and I'm going to give you a practical step-by-step approach that you can implement immediately to start supporting your leg strength, your balance, your stability, and your overall quality of life. Now, as always, I want to be very clear. I am not here to diagnose you, I am not here to replace your doctor, and I am not here to tell you to stop any treatments you're currently receiving. What I am here to do is educate you, to help you understand your own body so that you can make informed decisions and have meaningful conversations with your healthcare provider. If you're experiencing sudden weakness, severe pain, or any concerning symptoms, please see a medical professional. But if you're dealing with that gradual, progressive loss of leg strength that seems to be a normal part of aging, then stay with me, because what I'm about to share with you could genuinely change your life. Let me start by asking you a question, and I'd love for you to answer this in the comments. How old are you? And have you noticed your legs getting weaker over the past few years? Can you get up from a chair easily, or do you need to push yourself up with your arms? Can you climb stairs without holding onto the railing for dear life, or has that become difficult? Go ahead and share your age and your experience in the comments, because I think you'll find that you're far from alone, and understanding that other people are going through the same thing can be really comforting. All right, so let's talk about what's really happening in your legs. When we talk about weak legs, what we're really talking about is muscle loss. The medical term for this is sarcopenia, which literally means poverty of flesh. And it's true that as we age, we naturally lose some muscle mass. Starting around age 30, we begin to lose about 3 to 5% of our muscle mass per decade, and that loss accelerates after age 60. By the time you're 70, if you haven't been actively working to maintain your muscle, you may have lost a significant amount of strength. But here's what most people don't understand. This muscle loss is not inevitable, it's not irreversible, and it's not just about age. Your muscles are living tissue. They're constantly breaking down and rebuilding, every single day. When you're young, your body is very efficient at building new muscle protein, at repairing damaged muscle fibers, at maintaining the strength and size of your muscles. But as you age, that process becomes less efficient. Your body doesn't respond to the signals for muscle growth as well as it used to. It needs more support, more raw materials, more specific conditions to build and maintain muscle. And this is where that daily habit comes in, the one that almost every senior is getting wrong. That habit is how you eat protein. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, I eat protein, I have chicken sometimes, I have eggs, I drink milk. But here's what you need to understand. It's not just about eating protein. It's about when you eat it, how much you eat at one time, and how that protein is distributed throughout your day. And this is where almost everyone over 70 is making a critical mistake that's directly contributing to their leg weakness. Let me explain how this works. When you eat protein, your body breaks it down into amino acids, which are the building blocks of muscle. These amino acids travel through your bloodstream to your muscles, where they signal your body to start building new muscle protein. This process is called muscle protein synthesis, and it's absolutely critical for maintaining muscle mass and strength. But here's the key thing. Muscle protein synthesis requires a threshold amount of protein to be triggered. In other words, your body needs a certain minimum amount of amino acids in your bloodstream at one time to turn on the muscle-building process. For older adults, research suggests that this threshold is somewhere around 25 to 30 grams of high-quality protein per meal. Now, let me ask you this. Think about what you ate yesterday. How much protein did you have at breakfast? If you're like most seniors I talk to, you probably had toast, maybe some cereal, maybe oatmeal, perhaps a piece of fruit. That's maybe 5 or 10 grams of protein at most. Then, at lunch, maybe you had a sandwich, a cup of soup, a salad. That's perhaps 10 to 15 grams of protein. And then at dinner, you finally had a proper serving of meat or fish, maybe 20 or 30 grams of protein, possibly more. Do you see the pattern? You're going all day long without giving your body the protein it needs to maintain your muscles, and then you're trying to make up for it at dinner. But your body doesn't work that way. You see, muscle protein synthesis can only happen so much at one time. If you eat 50 or 60 grams of protein at dinner, your body can't use all of it for muscle building. It will use what it needs, perhaps 25 to 30 grams, and the rest will be used for energy or stored as fat or excreted. You can't bank protein. You can't save it up for later. Your muscles need a steady supply throughout the day to maintain their strength and size. And if you're only giving your body enough protein to trigger muscle building once a day, or worse, not at all, then you're essentially allowing your muscles to waste away, and that's why your legs are getting weaker. This is especially true for your legs, because your leg muscles are some of the largest muscles in your body, and they require the most protein to maintain. When your body isn't getting enough protein, it starts breaking down muscle tissue to get the amino acids it needs for other critical functions. And guess where it takes those amino acids from first? Your legs. Your body prioritizes your vital organs, your heart, your brain, your liver. Your leg muscles are expendable as far as your body is concerned, so they're the first to go when you're not eating enough protein throughout the day. Now, let me tell you about something called the anabolic resistance of aging. This is a fancy way of saying that as you get older, your muscles become more resistant to the signals that tell them to grow. When you're young, even a small amount of protein can trigger muscle protein synthesis. But when you're over 60 or 70, you need more protein, more frequently, to get the same effect. This is why the standard recommendations for protein intake, which were developed based on studies of young, healthy adults, simply don't apply to seniors. Older adults need more protein, period. and they need it distributed evenly throughout the day, not all at once. So, what does this look like in practice? It means that instead of having a low-protein breakfast, a low-protein lunch, and a high-protein dinner, you need to be eating at least 25 to 30 grams of high-quality protein at every meal. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, that's the daily habit that makes a difference. That's the simple change that can help you rebuild strength in your legs, improve your balance, reduce your risk of falling, and maintain your independence. Now, I know some of you are thinking, that sounds like a lot of protein. I can't eat that much. And I understand that concern, but let me show you what 25 to 30 grams of protein actually looks like. It's 3 eggs. It's a palm-sized serving of chicken, fish, or beef. It's a cup of cottage cheese. It's a large Greek yogurt. It's not an enormous amount of food, and it's absolutely achievable if you plan your meals intentionally. Let's talk about breakfast, because this is where most seniors fall short. If you're having toast and coffee for breakfast, you're setting yourself up for muscle loss right from the start. Instead, think about having eggs. 2 or 3 eggs give you about 12 to 18 grams of protein, and if you add some cheese or a side of Greek yogurt, you're easily at 25 to 30 grams. Or you could have a protein smoothie made with Greek yogurt, some fruit, and perhaps a scoop of high-quality protein powder. Or you could have cottage cheese with some nuts and berries. The key is to make protein the foundation of your breakfast, not an afterthought. At lunch, instead of a sandwich with a thin slice of deli meat, have a salad with a full chicken breast on top. Or have a bowl of Greek yogurt with nuts and seeds. Or have a hearty bean soup with some cheese. Again, aim for 25 to 30 grams of protein and build the rest of your meal around that. And at dinner, continue that pattern. A palm-sized serving of fish, chicken, beef, or pork. Or if you're vegetarian, a large serving of legumes with some quinoa or a plant-based protein source. The goal is consistent, adequate protein at every meal to keep your muscles in a constant state of building and repair. Now, I want to address something that comes up a lot, and that's kidney health. Some people have been told that eating too much protein is bad for your kidneys. And while it's true that people with pre-existing kidney disease need to be careful about protein intake, for healthy seniors, eating adequate protein is not only safe, it's essential. In fact, the bigger danger is not eating enough protein and allowing your muscles to waste away, which leads to falls, fractures, loss of independence, and a cascade of health problems. But as always, if you have any concerns about your kidney function or any other health condition, please talk to your healthcare provider before making significant changes to your diet. Let me ask you another question, and I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What did you have for breakfast this morning? And roughly, how much protein do you think was in that meal? Take a moment to think about it and share it in the comments, because I think you'll start to see just how low in protein most of our breakfasts really are. All right, now let's talk about the quality of the protein you're eating, because not all protein is created equal. When we talk about high-quality protein, we're talking about protein that contains all of the essential amino acids your body needs in the right proportions. Animal proteins like eggs, meat, fish, and dairy are considered complete proteins because they contain all the essential amino acids. Plant proteins, with a few exceptions like quinoa and soy, are often incomplete, meaning they're missing one or more essential amino acids. This doesn't mean you can't get enough protein from plant sources. It just means you need to be more intentional about combining different plant proteins to get all the amino acids you need. There's one amino acid in particular that's critical for muscle building, and that's leucine. Leucine is the amino acid that specifically triggers muscle protein synthesis, and animal proteins are much higher in leucine than plant proteins. This is why, if you're trying to rebuild leg strength, animal proteins are generally more effective gram for gram than plant proteins. But again, if you're vegetarian or vegan, you can absolutely get enough protein and enough leucine. You just need to eat more total protein and combine your sources thoughtfully. Now, let's talk about the other part of rebuilding leg strength, and that's movement. Eating enough protein is absolutely critical, but protein alone isn't enough. You have to use your muscles. You have to give your body a reason to build and maintain muscle tissue. And I'm not talking about going to the gym and lifting heavy weights, though if you can do that, that's wonderful. I'm talking about simple functional movements that you can do at home, movements that use your own body weight to challenge your leg muscles. One of the best exercises you can do for leg strength is the simple act of standing up from a chair without using your hands. This movement, called a sit-to-stand, uses all the major muscles in your legs, your quadriceps, your hamstrings, your glutes. And if you can't do it now, that's okay. You can start by using your hands to help you, and over time, as you build strength, you'll use your hands less and less until eventually you can stand up with no assistance at all. Try doing this 10 times in a row, several times throughout the day. It's like doing squats, but it's functional, it's practical, and it directly improves your ability to do the things you need to do in daily life. Walking is another incredible exercise for leg strength. If you can walk for 20 or 30 minutes a day, even if you break it up into shorter walks, you're doing something wonderful for your legs. Walking is weight-bearing, it's low impact, and it uses all the muscles in your legs in a coordinated way. And if you can add in some hills or stairs, even better, because that adds resistance and builds even more strength. If you're able, I also recommend doing some simple leg lifts. You can do these while standing and holding onto a counter or the back of a chair for balance. Just lift one leg out to the side, hold it for a few seconds, and then lower it back down. Do 10 on each side. Then lift one leg straight out in front of you, hold and lower. 10 on each side. Then lift one leg straight back behind you, hold and lower. 10 on each side. These movements target different muscles in your legs and hips, and they help to improve your balance and stability as well as your strength. The key is consistency. You need to be moving your legs every single day, challenging them, using them, giving your body a reason to maintain and build that muscle tissue. And when you combine consistent movement with adequate protein intake, that's when you start to see real, meaningful improvements in leg strength. Now let's talk about something that many people overlook, and that's vitamin D. Vitamin D is absolutely critical for muscle function, and most seniors are deficient in it. Vitamin D helps your muscles absorb calcium, it helps with muscle contraction, and it plays a role in muscle strength. If you're deficient in vitamin D, you're going to have weak muscles no matter how much protein you eat or how much you exercise. The best source of vitamin D is sunlight. But as we age, our skin becomes less efficient at producing vitamin D from sun exposure. And if you live in a northern climate or you spend most of your time indoors, you're probably not getting enough. Foods like fatty fish, egg yolks, and fortified dairy products contain some vitamin D, but it's often not enough. Many seniors benefit from a vitamin D supplement, typically somewhere between 1,000 and 2,000 IU per day. But you should have your levels checked and talk to your healthcare provider about the right dose for you. I also want to mention hydration, because it plays a role in muscle function as well. Your muscles are about 75% water, and if you're dehydrated, they can't function properly. They become weak, they cramp more easily, and they don't recover as well from activity. Make sure you're drinking enough water throughout the day, at least 6 to 8 glasses, and more if you're active or if it's hot outside. let's talk about another factor that contributes to weak legs, and that's inflammation. Chronic inflammation in the body can break down muscle tissue and interfere with muscle protein synthesis. And many of the things that drive inflammation in the body are the same things we've talked about in other videos: sugar, refined carbohydrates, processed foods, unhealthy fats. If you're eating a diet high in these inflammatory foods, you're making it harder for your body to maintain muscle mass. On the other hand, if you're eating a diet rich in vegetables, healthy fats, and high-quality proteins, you're supporting your body's natural anti-inflammatory processes and making it easier to maintain and build muscle. Now, I want to talk about something that might surprise you, and that's the importance of getting enough calories. Many seniors, especially women, are not eating enough total calories. Maybe you're worried about gaining weight, maybe your appetite has decreased, maybe you're just used to eating small portions. But if you're not eating enough calories, your body will break down muscle tissue to use for energy, and all the protein in the world won't help you if you're in a calorie deficit. You need to eat enough food, enough calories, to support your body's basic functions and to give your muscles the energy they need to grow and repair. This doesn't mean you should overeat, but it does mean you shouldn't be severely restricting your food intake, especially if you're trying to build muscle. Let me share a story with you. I worked with a woman named Margaret. She was 76 years old, and she came to me because she was terrified of falling. She said her legs felt so weak that she didn't trust them anymore. She was holding onto furniture when she walked around her house. She was avoiding stairs, and she had stopped going out with her friends because she was afraid she'd fall in public. When I asked her about her diet, she told me she usually had a piece of toast and coffee for breakfast, a small salad for lunch, and a modest portion of chicken or fish with some vegetables for dinner. She thought she was eating healthy, and in some ways she was, but when I calculated her protein intake, she was only getting about 40 or 50 grams of protein per day, and almost all of it was at dinner. I explained to her about muscle protein synthesis, about the need for protein at every meal, and we worked together to redesign her meals so that she was getting 25 to 30 grams of protein at breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Within 4 weeks, Margaret noticed a difference. She felt stronger. She could get up from her chair more easily. She felt more stable when she walked. And after 3 months, she told me, she felt like a different person. She was walking without holding onto furniture. She was going up and down stairs with confidence, and she had started going out with her friends again. She said to me, "I can't believe that something so simple could make such a difference. Why didn't anyone tell me about this before?" And that's exactly why I'm making this video, because this information should be common knowledge, and it's not. Now, I want to address something that I know concerns a lot of seniors, and that's the fear of falling. Weak legs are one of the primary risk factors for falls, and falls are one of the leading causes of injury, hospitalization, and loss of independence in older adults. But here's the thing: when you strengthen your legs, when you improve your balance and stability, you dramatically reduce your risk of falling. And the good news is, it's never too late to start. Even people in their 80s and 90s can build muscle and improve their strength. The human body has an incredible capacity to adapt and heal at any age, but you have to give it what it needs. I'd love to hear from you in the comments again. Have you had a fall or a near fall that scared you? Do you feel confident on your legs, or do you find yourself holding on to things, avoiding certain activities because you're worried about your balance? Share your experience, because I think it's important to talk about these things openly, and I think you'll find that many other people share your concerns. All right, so let's bring this all together. Weak legs after 70 are not inevitable. They're not just a normal part of aging that you have to accept. They're the result of not giving your body what it needs to maintain muscle mass and strength. And the most critical thing your body needs is adequate protein, distributed evenly throughout the day at every meal. This is the daily habit that makes a difference. 25 to 30 grams of high-quality protein at breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's it. That's the simple change that can help you rebuild strength in your legs, improve your balance, reduce your risk of falling, and maintain your independence. But protein isn't the only piece of the puzzle. You also need to move your legs, challenge them, use them every single day. You need to make sure you're getting enough vitamin D, staying hydrated, managing inflammation through a healthy diet, and eating enough total calories to support your body's needs. All of these things work together to help you maintain and build muscle mass. Now, I know that making changes can feel overwhelming, especially if you're not used to thinking about protein at every meal or if you're not currently very active. So let me give you a simple place to start. Tomorrow morning, have a protein-rich breakfast. 3 eggs or a large Greek yogurt with nuts or a protein smoothie. Just start there. See how you feel. Notice whether you have more energy, whether you feel fuller for longer. And then, if you can, do 10 sit-to-stands from a chair. Use your hands if you need to. That's perfectly fine. Just do 10. That's it. That's your starting point. And once you've done that for a few days and it starts to feel natural, add protein to your lunch. And add a short walk to your day. And keep building from there, one small step at a time. I want to emphasize something really important. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to do everything right all the time. Life happens, and there will be days when you don't get enough protein or you don't move as much as you'd like. That's okay. What matters is the overall pattern, the consistency over time. If you can make protein a priority most days and move your body most days, you will see results. It might take a few weeks, it might take a few months, but you will get stronger. Your legs will get stronger. You'll feel more stable, more confident, more capable. And that feeling is worth every bit of effort you put in. Before we wrap up, I want to ask you to do something. If you found this information helpful, if you think it could help someone else, you know who's struggling with weak legs or worried about falling, please share this video with them. Share it with your friends, your family, your community groups. Because the more people who understand how to maintain their strength and independence as they age, the better off all of us will be. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss future videos. We're here to provide practical, actionable education that helps seniors like you live with more comfort, more strength, and more confidence. Every subscription helps us reach more people, and that's what this work is all about. If you have questions, if you want to share your own story, if there's a topic you'd like me to cover in a future video, please leave a comment. I read every comment, and I use them to guide the content I create. Your voice matters, and I want to hear from you. All right, let's summarize the key takeaways. Number 1, weak legs after 70 are not inevitable. They're largely the result of not eating enough protein throughout the day to maintain muscle mass. Number 2, your body needs 25 to 30 grams of high-quality protein at each meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner to trigger muscle protein synthesis and maintain your leg strength. Number 3, protein alone isn't enough. You also need to move your legs, challenge them, use them every day through simple exercises like sit-to-stands, walking, and leg lifts. Number 4, make sure you're getting enough vitamin D, staying hydrated, eating enough total calories, and managing inflammation through a healthy diet. And number 5, start small. You don't have to change everything at once. Just focus on adding protein to your breakfast tomorrow and doing 10 sit-to-stands from a chair. Build from there, 1. step at a time, and trust that your body will respond. I want to close by reminding you that you are not powerless. You are not at the mercy of aging. Yes, your body changes as you get older, but you have so much control over how you age. You can choose to give your body what it needs to stay strong, to stay mobile, to stay independent. You can choose to prioritize your health, your strength, your quality of life. And when you do, when you make these simple but powerful changes, you'll be amazed at how much better you feel, how much more capable you are, how much more confident you become. Your legs have carried you through your entire life. They've taken you everywhere you've wanted to go. They've supported you through every challenge, every joy, every moment. They deserve your care, your attention, your respect. And with the right support, with adequate protein, with consistent movement, with all the other pieces we've talked about today, they can continue to carry you strongly and confidently for many years to come. Thank you so much for being here today, for taking the time to learn, for caring enough about yourself to seek out this information. I am so grateful for each and every one of you. I wish you strength, I wish you stability, I wish you confidence in your own body and in your own ability to take care of yourself. You've got this. One meal at a time, one day at a time, one step at a time, you can rebuild your strength and reclaim your independence. Take care of yourself, be patient with yourself, and remember that it's never too late to start. I'll see you in the next video.